Broadcasting live from the Vegas Video Network studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip. It's time to get on the right side of sports betting. It's time for the Odds Couple.
Welcome to the Odds Couple on the world-famous Vegas Video Network. My name is Scott Pritchard, joined as always by my good buddy, co-host Anthony Padilla.
Thanks, buddy. Good to be here. St. Patrick's Day weekend. Today we will be covering cheap shots to the head, the last person you would ever want handling foreign diplomacy for the U.S., and going streaking. That's just a Friday with my buddy Scott.
Let's get started. What say you? The Miami Heat. Someone called the Las Vegas Fire Department. The Heat are on fire! 20 consecutive wins. A lot of people thinking that the Heat have an outside shot at approaching the record all-time early 70s. The Lakers won 33 consecutive games. Question is, do you see the Heat winning 13, 14 more consecutive games? I say in a word, hell no. What say you?
Why would you call the Las Vegas Fire Department to put out the Heat fire?
Because we bet in Las Vegas at the sports books, and the Heat at the bet window, my friend, Anthony, they're hot!
Yeah, but I can't do the show today with you.
Great, awesome, finally!
Do they have a chance? Yes. Will they do it? In one word, no. That's one word. And they won't do it because the ego, I think, is what's going to get in the way. I believe they've got the cohesiveness. Obviously, 20 games is nothing to sneeze at. And historically speaking, I think you've got to give this team credit as possibly now being one of the best teams in the history of basketball. Just considering it's not like it's a fluke and they just came together this year. This is why they put this team together over a year and a half ago. And then they won the title last year. And now they're right there set to do it again. As far as the 33 games goes, I don't think they're going to do it because of the fact that I think at some point it's going to be one night. It's just going to be a sloppy night. Something's going to happen. And that's all it takes is one fluke night to ruin that streak. So, no.
I give the Heat a lot of credit for winning 20 consecutive games. Remember, we have about 5 to 6 teams every year, only 5 or 6 teams that have a road winning record. The Heat, you have to be a little bit lucky, okay? They're a very good basketball team, the defending NBA champs, but the fact is they've been favored by 13 to 15 points. Game goes overtime, they win on a last-second basket. Tough way to make a living. Don't ask me how I know. Welcome to my world on a nightly basis, betting these games. But the Heat to win 33, 34 consecutive games, a lot easier after you've won the first 20. I just don't see it happening. Let's talk about Anthony's favorite team, the Lakers. All right. They've slid into the number 8 spot. I've gone on record as saying the Lakers will not make the playoffs. Again, you don't want to wish an injury on anyone. Kobe Bryant, one of the best players in the league, has a severe ankle sprain, adversely going to affect this team. For how long, we're not quite sure, but it appears to be an extended injury. He's going to be out. Lakers, I know you don't like talking about this team, but this is what we all like to talk about. The good, the bad, the ugly. What say you?
When Kobe made this guarantee that the Lakers were going to make the playoffs, obviously that was with the assumption that he was going to be healthy. So do you now take back that guarantee and then say, oh, well, I didn't know I was going to get hurt? This is why you don't make guarantees, because you can't foresee injuries or the intangibles. Once again, I think we need to name this show the intangibles, because that's always what it comes down to in these situations. You cannot predict an injury to the star of the team, and Kobe is the reason that they've began to gel as the season has gone on, but now he's done. So what is going to happen? I am very curious to see how the next 5 games go. Forget the rest of the season. However, at the end of the day, what are we still talking about, man? 8th place, who cares? It's not like, oh, Kobe's out. Their chance at winning it all. Okay, the NBA championship trophy that they've got quite a few of, and the Lakers are known for winning, that's not what they're going to win. You might as well get the Little League 8th grade trophies ready, since we're apparently giving them out for 8th place now. So if we want to do those, then hey, by all means, congratulations. Bravo, Lakers. Bravo, Kobe. Congratulations on the guarantee to make the playoffs and then lose, once you get in the first round. Or who cares? I said it last week. I'll say it again. Kobe's injury, unfortunate. Yes, you never wish injury on anybody, but it happened. And whether it helps or hinders remains to be seen, but it really doesn't matter, because even if they get there, they're out in the first round, if they get there.
Unfortunately for the Laker fans, as bad as it's been, it's about to get worse. High expectations going into the season. Now not one but two key injuries. Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol. We'll see how it plays out, but they're really obviously going to struggle with the Utah Jazz clipping on at their heels here. We have about 15 games to go, so we'll see what happens down the stretch. Pretty exciting.
It is exciting. You know what's kind of crazy right now? There's a lot of teams that are kind of streaking. You know, a lot of home win streaks, a lot of 10, 11 game win streaks in a row. I think that's kind of interesting for the end of a season.
Well, what you have, the Memphis Grizzlies, a very obscure team. They've won 14 of their last 15 contests, and a lot of this took place after they dumped their best player. Lionel Hollins, the coach of the Grizzlies, was very, very upset, saying, wow, what do you want me to do? I'm a great coach, but you gave away all my players, including my best player, Rudy Gay. I give him credit. Defensively, they're tough as nails, the number one team defensively in all of basketball. I'm telling you, I pride myself on seeing things before they happen. I did not see this coming. Memphis Grizzlies winning 14 out of the last 15 games.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. Speaking of the Memphis Grizzlies, they are on our wheel this week in our Spin to Win segment, which is one of our favorites to do. Unfortunately, the lovely Tara is not here to do it, so instead, she has been replaced with the very handsome Mr. Scott Whitney, and he will be spinning the wheel. Today we have the Memphis Grizzlies heading to Denver to take on the Nuggets. Nuggets are favored by 5 in this game. As you know, in this segment, we've got 2 teams on the wheel. He's going to spin it, whatever team it lands on. Scott is forced to argue for that team. I will be forced to take and make an argument for the opposing team because, as you know, the smart bettor always bets with their head and not with their heart. So, the lovely Scott, if you would, please.
There it is. Scotty's got the Nuggets, baby.
It's like you've got the Nugs.
Denver Nuggets. I'm glad someone could read that. All right, the Denver Nuggets at home, always a good solid bet. We're talking high altitude, thin air. I've been there. It's tough to breathe. Denver Nuggets, 3 losses the entire year. I think there's something sick like 29-3 at home for the season. They just will not lose at home. The Memphis Grizzlies, as good as they are, they're in the middle of a 4-game road trip coming off an emotionally hard-fought win at the LA Clippers. Congratulations. Now you get to catch a plane, head to Denver, Mile High City, where the Nuggets dominate the paint. What I like about Denver is they get to the free throw line, they dominate the paint, they defend their home court extremely well, and they force pace. It's going to be very interesting because the Memphis Grizzlies love a half-court set. They like to play in mud, knock-down, slow-down type game. Nuggets, wow, minus the 5. That should be the first quarter line.
All right, look, all the reasons that you just made are the same reasons that Memphis is going to win this game. Memphis is a really good team, a very strong team on the road. They're 44-19 on the season. They've lost 2 of 3 this year against Denver. Both of those wins came by 5 points, ironically enough. Memphis won by 9 in their last meeting. This one, you've got a Memphis team who's won 4 of their last 5 on the road, and you have a Denver team who's looking for 11 straight at home, 11 straight, 15 straight at home, and that's why I think tonight, again, when we talk about streaks, it just takes that one game, and you've got a really strong team coming in. When you're riding that kind of a home win streak, you start to feel a little bit of pressure. 29-3 at home, that's insane. I mean, at some point, you're going to lose again, and I think this is when it comes. So even though Denver is favored by 5, I think Memphis is actually going to win the game.
Well, that's a pretty bold statement. I mean, it's tough to make a living playing on the road in the NBA. We've talked before, only 5, maybe 6 teams every year actually win on the road. The one thing I'll say about your Memphis Grizzlies, I know you are forced to make the argument for this team in this situation. Tayshaun Prince has come in. He's fit in very nicely. He's a team player. He's a very good defensive player, tall, long arms, very good defensive player. So we'll, again, see how this matchup plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. And speaking of good teams on the road or at home, man, San Antonio, 50-game winners again, 14 straight seasons. That's an impressive record. I mean, that's an impressive streak.
What I like about that, the San Antonio Spurs, they won a here we go again. All right, I'm going to hone in right here. Okay. San Antonio Spurs, best record in the Western Conference. Love this team. What Popovich does with this team year in, year out. They have great youth. They have a couple of fossils, a couple of dinosaurs, a couple of antiques in their lineup, Tim Duncan along with Manu Ginobili, but they took it to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I really enjoyed seeing that. I have gone on record as saying that the Spurs will come out of the West, even though the sports books and the sports bettors and my good buddy Anthony like the Thunder of Oklahoma City to come out. But it was great to see the Spurs hand the Thunder their asses without Tony Parker. Something tells me the Thunder will come back with a revenge motive type game late in the year when they host the Spurs.
See, now, you just said it again. They are winning games, resting their starters still. But once it gets to playoff time, the thing about the playoffs is that's where that gel from the season comes into play. You know, if you've got guys who've been resting a lot, and now, because they're not going to rest in the playoffs. I think anybody can agree on that. Once that playoff game hits, all those starters are going to play because those are the guys you got to go with. But they're used to resting, and they're used to being on the bench so many minutes a game. So it's actually part of a thing that can work against them, which I've said before, and that has nothing to do with age. You know, but that's a double thing going against them. You've got age, and you've got a team that they're just not going to have that cohesiveness when they need it.
In the NBA, oftentimes it's not who starts, it's who do you have coming off the bench. And this team is so deep. I respectfully disagree with Anthony simply because I like doing it. And number two, it has to do with the fact that because the playoffs, you basically play one game, you have a day or two off, you're playing in the same city, so it actually bodes well. One of the reasons why the San Antonio Spurs have won, not two, 5 NBA championships.
All right, look, here it's this easy. Anytime you disagree with me, that means it's time for a break. So we are having a good time here, but clearly we've got some stuff we got to discuss, and we hope that you'll take a break, grab a drink, come right back. You're watching The Odds Couple right here on the Vegas Video Network.
Oh, hi. I'm Kelly Clinton. That stuff. I wonder if Joan Rivers is watching. Oh, please. Oh, my God. Who cares? I don't have a different one. You know who watches this show? Wayne Newton.
You got that right, Kelly. I think you're absolutely beautiful and talented young lady. 5, 6, 9, 12. Talking shit.
More camera time for me. Hey, I wonder if Cher's watching.
Oh, please. I have so many other things to do.
Woo! Hi, I'm Kelly Clinton. I'm the host of Talk Tales, and you're watching the Vegas Video Network. That was horrible.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on Vegas Video Network. My name is Scott Pritchard alongside Anthony Padilla. We'd love to have you become a part of the show. Reach out to us, email us at oddscouple@vegasvideonetwork.com. It's Odds Couple. I've never done this before. Okay. It's called Odds Couple at vegasvideonetwork.com. That's email. Reach out to us, web-based voicemail. We'd love to hear your voice on our show. Go to the red bar on the right-hand side, click there, and then in the middle of the page, start recording. Also, we field live chat questions, so anything that you have a concern about in the world of sports betting or the world of sports, or it's just something you want to get off your chest, feel free to dial in a live chat question. I love seeing my buddy Anthony struggle with those live chat questions. If you do miss us live, no worries. Check us out, iTunes, YouTube, Vegas Video Network, and Roku. You don't have to look far, friends, to feel frustration when it comes to sports, namely sports betting. Are you kidding me?
I think everybody remembers Dennis Rodman playing in the NBA. He's definitely one of the most colorful, eccentric players that the league or any sport really has ever seen. And he was fun to watch on the court. You hear crazy stories about how he would play hungover and have benders the night before games. And obviously everybody knows his antics off the court as well. Now it's getting to a point, Scott, where I feel that he is putting our world in jeopardy. Like, this guy has decided that he wants to be the representative with foreign diplomacy. He took it upon himself to go meet with Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, who, if anybody is unaware, we are not exactly on the best of terms with, and they would like to destroy the world. And yet Dennis Rodman went over to meet with him because he's a basketball fan, and he feels that he's just misunderstood. He's a nice guy, but he's misunderstood. You're misunderstood, but I have no fear of you destroying the world ever. Okay, but Dennis Rodman he's trying to get in the middle of this. What are you doing, man? And it didn't even end there. Now, Mr. Rodman, or Wrong Man, as I'm calling him in this situation, wants to meet with the newly elected Pope. He's trying to get his people to set up a meeting with the new Pope. He actually flew to the Vatican a couple of days ago to try to get this arranged. Now, a lot of you may or may not know this, whether you're religious or not, it doesn't matter, but when a new Pope is elected, they release small amounts of white smoke from the Sistine Chapel. Okay, if Dennis Rodman is ever doing anything, they need to be alerting everybody with the nuclear warning, with the countdown on television, and we need to see big smokestacks letting out large amounts of black smoke, all right? Because otherwise, I think you all remember the famous picture of the A-bomb and that mushroom cloud. This is what's going to happen if we let this guy continue to try to do anything for us. What are you doing, man? You were a great basketball player. You were an entertaining athlete. Just go do a Charles Barkley, get on TNT, do something else. You're not going to save the world. If anything, I'm a little concerned for my safety because of Dennis Rodman and Scott Pritchard, but more because of Dennis Rodman. Are you kidding?
Anthony, calm down, man. We're talking, this is taken way out of context. Dennis Rodman, really? He's causing problems? I don't think so. I mean, I love Dennis Rodman as a rebounder. It stops and starts there. As far as him causing problems going to North Korea, no one takes Dennis Rodman seriously. I don't take that nut job in North Korea seriously. Testing missiles.
That's
Give
the
me a
problem.
break.
That guy is taking him seriously.
If, with a big fat I, if they actually did something, we would take care of it. This guy is just... He has short man complex, this guy over there in North Korea. Come on, they test these missiles, what do they go, 30, 40, 50 feet? Give me a break.
Well,
Not to be taken seriously. Relax, calm, hey,
look,
lighten up, have a drink.
I would love one. Our own Senate, nobody endorses what Rodman's doing. He is absolutely, get out.
That's why I'm starting to think maybe he's on to something.
Look, we don't like politicians in sports. Athletes do not belong trying to save the... I mean, if you want to save the world, great. Go do some Greenpeace stuff. We don't need you actually trying to save the world with... What if... So you're telling me if Hitler were alive and he went over to meet with Hitler, that why not?
I don't take Dennis Rodman seriously as a person, not to mention as Secretary of Defense. Why do you?
Well, but you understand what he's all about. Other countries don't view things the same way. You really are okay with him meeting with one of the leaders?
I'm okay if you meet that guy over there in North Korea.
Sure.
I have no problem with that.
Of course, because I'm going to talk about our show.
We do appeal to a worldwide audience on the Vegas video. I did say it's world famous, all right? So we've validated our position. Now, I want to talk about DeMarcus Cousins, okay? This man-child who's a big fat baby for the Sacramento Kings, star player. This guy rebounds, something like 20 points, 9, 10 rebounds a game, but he can't get out of his own way. He's his own worst enemy. I can't stand DeMarcus Cousins, and here's why. He is responsible for getting Paul Westphal fired. Okay, Paul Westphal has been around this league for a long, long time. It's another case in point, my friends, where the inmates are running the asylum. He basically was responsible, not basically, he was responsible for getting Paul Westphal fired, so now they bring in Keith Smart. Well, again, he was happy with that for about 2 games. Now, over the past year and a half, Keith Smart, very good player, weak-ass coach, if you ask me. Now, Keith Smart has suspended DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins this year was suspended by the National Basketball Association for going after Sean Elliott, a broadcaster, because he said a few things basically speaking the truth. You're a professional athlete. How about having some tough skin? How about that? None of this matters. I always kind of thought it was humorous until I have a couple $1,000s riding on the Sacramento Kings about a week ago. And I'm thinking, okay, DeMarcus Cousins, as good as he is, there's a chance he could get tossed because he's a freak. But I'm thinking, hey, I'm at home. He's not going to. The refs will be in his back pocket. No worries. Third quarter, Sacramento Kings in the game. It's close. It's tied. I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. DeMarcus Cousins throws an elbow to Mike Dunleavy's head and then disputes it. Gone. Ejected. Final score of the game without their star player. They played the entire fourth quarter without him. He was ejected at home. Cost me thousands of dollars. The Sacramento Kings lost by 2 points. Are you kidding me? All right, enough about that. Okay, go ahead. Interject, Anthony. Go ahead.
You brought up a point there that it's a game that happened yesterday.
No, it happened a while ago.
I'm sorry. No. I was thinking of another game.
A week ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's been a lot of this stuff lately with calls and intentional fouls and what was the intent, which also sometimes has led to questioning the officials. You know, are they missing certain calls and whatnot? There was a college game yesterday between Charlotte and Richmond in the A-10 conference tournament. And Richmond was up by 3 with 4.2 seconds left. They fouled the Charlotte player. He went to the line. after the first made free throw coming off of the line, two of the big men got into it. The Charlotte player was pushed down by the Richmond guy, but the Charlotte player put his hand on the Richmond player's head. Richmond was called for the technical. So now they have those 3 free throws. Then they get the 3 additional ones. Then they get the ball. So they shoot those free throws. It's tied. They go up 1. Then they get the ball out of bounds. On the inbounds pass, he's fouled from just by half court. They say it's in the act of shooting. So now he's going to the line for 3 more shots. The Richmond coach comes off the bench livid. They tee him up. At the end of the day, with 4.2 seconds left, Charlotte was awarded 11 free throws and the ball twice. And the officials really got in the way of this. Now with all the stuff we talk about with missed calls and whatnot, I don't know if you saw this, this is the perfect example of officials getting in the way of the game. I don't have a problem with them calling fouls. You know, a foul is a foul, as we've always said. However, there is a time where you've got to let these guys play a little bit, especially at the end of a game when it's that close. You cannot let it be decided by 11 free throw attempts.
Anthony's opinion is very popular. I couldn't disagree more. I mean, this is the one time. I can't stand officials. I can't stand them. This is the one time the officials actually got it right. Yes, I realize 11 free throws in the last 4.2 seconds. There should have been 15 free throws. The coach should have been ejected long ago. Here's what happened. The fact that Richmond, the guy fouled, then granted, he should have shown restraint. He chose not to, and we all know, you see the second guy, he's just the one who usually gets busted. So to whine and cry and complain and pin it on the officials, how about showing some self-discipline? How about that for an original thought? The player was at fault, not the refs. The refs got it right.
Well, then why?
It was a
then
3-point.
Then
It
the
was
Charlotte
a
player should have been
3-point.
called.
Well, no, he was guilty, but again, he had nothing to lose.
Well,
His team is down,
okay,
so
but
he's going to take a shot.
But if they're not going to, okay, so then they didn't get it right because they didn't. It doesn't. You just said he was guilty.
The ref missed a call.
Exactly.
But you have to call the.
No, if you're gonna, they didn't miss it. If you miss that, and then you call the other one, then don't call the other one.
Or I'm talking about the barrage.
Under the basket.
Yeah, I understand.
Right, after they
missed
free
a
throw.
call,
sure.
But that should not parlay into 11 free throws because the coach couldn't show restraint.
Okay,
His
but the coach is
player
upset.
couldn't show restraint.
Again, but at that time,
so you can justify that?
Absolutely. Look, coaches get upset all the time, and the officials will warn them. They'll say, "All right, coach, just back it up a little bit. Back it up. Calm down." There was no warning. It was an immediate boom, teed up. This is it. This is our spotlight now. And yes, of course, the officials aren't thinking this is our chance to be on TV, but some guys are quicker to the whistle than others, and this was a case of these guys with just, that's it. I mean, because if they're going to be that way, I guarantee you, if they were that quick to blow the whistle, I guarantee you there were plenty of opportunities in that game with those teams where the whistle probably should have been blown a lot more.
It's one call, one time, but because the player with a 2-point lead with 4 seconds to go could not show restraint, the official did the right thing. Yeah, he missed the guy hooking him inside of the head. He missed that, okay? But from that point on, everything, I agree with the officials. You had to call a foul, and then the coach freaking out, and then the 3-point shot attempt from half court.
That was another blown call.
That was the right call.
No,
as well.
It was not. He was not. That was not in the act of shooting.
So how much money did you lose on Richmond yesterday?
No. But explain this to me. This is why he wasn't in the act of shooting. They just took the lead by 1. Right. So they had the ball with 4 seconds left. They're inbounding the ball with a 1-point lead.
I thought they were down 1.
No, they were up 1 because they were down 63-60.
Okay.
Then they got the free throws, so they went up 64-63.
And then what happened?
Then they inbounded the ball. So if you're up by 1 and you inbound the ball, why would you be putting up a 3? You know you're about to get fouled, so he wasn't.
I saw the video replay, and he clearly was shooting a 3.
No, he was not. He was not shooting a 3. There's no reason why
it should have never come down to that point.
Exactly, but that's irrelevant because games always come down to points where people say, well, it shouldn't have come down to that, but it did. And 11 free throws to end a playoff game, a college tournament basketball game, is absurd, and absolutely some of the blame goes on the officials.
This is the part of the show we're going to respectfully and somewhat abruptly move on. This is the part of the show where Anthony and I together hopefully put money in your pocket as we put you on the right side.
All right, this week, from my right side, I want to start by saying that we won again. My buddy and I both picked a couple of winners last week, so that being said, listen to us. Folks, we know what we're talking about, and even if we don't, we sound like we do. So that's the most important thing when you go to place these bets. okay? Because you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But if you go with us, most of the time you're going to win. Now, last time I got this cocky, I lost by a half a point. But here's the cool thing about sports betting. There's 100 different games on any given day. Probably 200 right now with all the college basketball tournament games and whatnot. You can bet on any of them. There's no such thing as, oh, well, that's a gimme, so we're not going to put that on the board. Look, the smart bettor doesn't just bet with their head, but they also bet. It's hard to say that there's a sure bet, but sometimes, once again, there is a sure bet. This week, I have the Orlando Magic heading to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder are favored by 17 points in this game. Now, this is where it gets fun. Okay, obviously the Thunder are going to win this game. That has nothing to do with anything because we're talking about against the spread, which is Scotty's favorite thing, and it's the hardest thing to do in sports betting. Okay, the Thunder are favored by 17. Listen to these records. Orlando Magic 18-47, Oklahoma City Thunder 47-18. You can flip-flop them. Those are the records. And when it's that deep into a season, that is really, really not good for the Orlando Magic. Now, they are going into Oklahoma City with just, what is there, 15 games left in the season?
Yes.
Okay, and 17 points is a lot. The Thunder are absolutely going to dominate this game, and really there's nothing to be said. In fact, the best thing that's going for Orlando is Epcot, really. I mean, so unless you're going to Disney World, that's all they've got going. As far as this game goes, 17 is a lot of points. And it's in Oklahoma City where they've actually, I believe they've won, they're going for 7 straight games at home, another streak. That's not going to end. They're going to win that game tonight. But Orlando on the road, they're trying to fight for anything they can get. They'll take a loss by 10. I mean, not really. They're still trying to win. But they're also trying to piece things together. And Oklahoma knows they're going to win this game. It's not a trap game because they are going to win, but 17 is just too big of a spread. So in this game, the right side for me is the Orlando Magic plus the 17. See the cashier, cash the ticket, all that fun stuff.
Anthony's been on fire, no doubt about it. Anthony and the Miami Heat together have been red hot ATS against the spread. Remember, my friends, 52.4% is the break-even point. We've been clipping along at 60% consistently. Pro football, NBA basketball. Last week, my game, ATS against the spread. I bet the total it won by 30-some points. So, again, it's nice when that happens. Anthony talked about sure bets, this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. There's no such thing as a lock, but there are good, educated bets. Let's take a look at a game I'm looking at tonight, the Miami Heat taking on the Chicago Bulls. I like the total for this contest. It's, what did I say, the Bulls? Yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks. Thank you. That's a lot of bull, if you ask me. The Bucks are hosting the Miami Heat. No wonder I've been struggling with my... No wonder they wouldn't take my bet. I want the Bulls under 202.5. No. All right, so we're looking at the Bucks. They're at home. I like this team because Monte Ellis has this team playing well. Jennings. They picked up J.J. Redick, a sharpshooter from the Orlando Magic. He's been playing extremely well. I love their center, Larry Sanders. This team at home, they play extremely well. The Miami Heat, they're a little bit inconsistent in regards to ATS against the spread. Yes, they've been red hot winning games, 20 consecutive games, but against the spread, you just don't know what you're going to get. I look at this matchup. The Miami Heat, the last few games specifically, they have been consistent playing good, sound defense. The one constant you have, home and away, if you play good, sound defense, you're going to be okay. I look at my play, the right side for me, I like under 202.5 in the Bucks taking on the Heat contest. You have an opinion there, young man? I mean, Anthony?
Good call.
Thank you. Great. Well said.
I'm not betting that one this week.
You're not?
No.
Okay.
Or any others, probably.
All right. Great.
I prefer to just see that I would have won.
Yeah, and imagine if you'd actually bet these games that you're going to. I've been, during football season, I'm going to. Anthony is a sports nut. I'm a professional sports bettor. So, Anthony, during the course of the regular season in pro football, I was actually betting against his game, getting hammered.
That's right.
It would have been nice.
On these games, I could afford to get a new co-host.
Well, what are you doing this weekend? Anything at all?
St. Patrick's Day, man. It's St. Patrick's Day week. I'm excited. This is actually really exciting weekend for me because, comedy aside, we've got the Mountain West Conference Tournament, which is here in Vegas, and I'm a huge New Mexico Lobos fan. I'm from Albuquerque. They're in town playing in that tournament. They actually play tonight against San Diego State, and then the championship game is tomorrow. I will definitely be watching the elimination game, U.S. versus Puerto Rico, tonight in the World Baseball Classic. That's something we didn't get a chance to get into today. We should next week because it's been really, really fun to watch. Sunday is St. Patrick's Day, and I'm going to watch the Cubs and Rangers have a few adult beverages and enjoy some day baseball and then heading out that night. And all weekend, of course, Comedy After Dark with myself over at the LVH, going strong. You're coming.
I'll be there, absolutely. But you're not actually paying money to see the Cubs play baseball. Exhibition. There's no difference. The Cubs are an exhibition team.
Well, they give away the tickets for...
Yeah.
Well, this is
You're
Vegas.
still,
you
you're
understand.
still paying too much, yeah.
No, I was given the tickets. Of course I'm going to go.
You don't value your time?
I love baseball.
Yeah.
You're right. I should spend it in front of a computer analyzing the stats from the spring training game instead. That would be better.
Now you're talking. This weekend, if you're in Vegas, I'm joining Anthony Padilla. Comedy After Dark, Anthony Padilla, LVH. I'll be doing a guest spot this evening. Also tomorrow night and every Saturday night, Las Vegas on the Strip. I do stand-up comedy and host the show at Bally's LA Comedy Club. Check out my picks, Pritchard'sPicks.com, VegasInsider.com. If you're in Vegas, check out Gaming Today. 40,000 circulation in every single sports book in the state of Nevada. I do a weekly article. For Anthony Padilla, I'm Scott Pritchard. Good luck. Goodbye.